Join me in my goal to make a baby blanket for a coworker who's expecting. Here we are casting on the multicolored border for the baby blanket. I don't think the baby's gender has been revealed yet, but she really likes purple, and I think purple is gender neutral. It's just a great color anyways. So we're just going to do this rainbow and purple. The problem with working on a project, especially a blanket that's bordered, where the inside is one color and the border is another color, is you are working at minimum with 3 balls because you have your center ball and then you have to have separate balls for each side of the border once it splits off around the center. Because otherwise you're trying to carry the yarn across the entire length of a blanket. It's just going to cause a mess. It's not viable. Which causes a mess of its own. I hate multi-stranding with multiple balls, but I really want to see what this looks like, so I'm going to keep giving it a try. Now, I didn't actually own a usable tripod for this situation. I own like your regular upright tripod with a glowy light on, like a ring light on it, but that doesn't work when trying to do your knitting because you hold your knitting in front of you. So my phone is currently tied to my neck with a shoestring that I tied around the case of the phone, uh, which was not the best working situation. Um, as you can see, I struggle pretty heavily to successfully stay in the frame of it because I can't actually see where I am working and it's coming in and out of frame. So you guys get several lovely shots of my lamp and the extra balls of yarn. But yeah, here I am swapping from the cable portion to the garter stitch border. I chose to do the border and garter stitch because the cabling is technically stockinette in the way that cables are stockinette most often. Yeah, and here we are on row 13. Now here I actually found my bendy tripod with a little clip at the end that clips onto my desk, the same way my lamp clips onto my desk. So this one is tripoded, and it was because of that a little bit easier to stay into line because I can actually see what I'm doing when I glance at the phone. I primarily knit looking like at the knitting, but when I'm recording, just being able to glance at the phone to make sure that I am in sight like works very well. Yeah, and this is another cable row, and sorry, unfortunately here I'm so focused on untangling my yarns that I go out of sight. The risk of working with multiple balls is that they just tangle terribly. Does anybody else work multi-strand projects and like quietly hate yourself? Like, I love the way they look, but I hate making them. And now we're officially on row 21. I accidentally deleted a bunch of footings, so here we are at rows 45 and 68. This is how I keep track of what row of the pattern I'm on. I did pretty much do this pattern by myself, but that's just because this is a simple woven cable with a border, just a garter stitch border. So it's basically a very simple pattern once you decide how big you want the blanket. I will put down the actual pattern in the description of this video so that anybody who sees this and wants to make something similar can do so. I think it would wind up looking much nicer with thinner yarn, but I wanted to use the big bulky baby yarn for the newborn so it would be soft and so that this could be the kind of blanket that like you lay out on a crib for the baby to lay on. So that's why I'm using this bulky newborn yarn, the fuzzy stuff, and not say a nicer, slimmer yarn that would show off the pattern better. And the row we're on right here is actually our purl row where we just purl all the way across after cabling. Um, Once again, while swapping the yarn, I can't stay in focus. But basically, when you swap yarn, you just twist them once around each other, and it just secures the two yarns in the back so you don't have any holes or gapage where the border connects to the center yarn. Anyone who's worked multi-strand projects or color works knows what I'm doing here. But yeah, for people who haven't, you literally just twist them around each other once and it secures the two. And this is row 100. Here you see me binding off the very end of the project using a needle about 2 sizes bigger than the original knitting needle that the project was worked on. I always find bind offs to be a little like high tension because if you've messed up and you need to unravel it, the moment you snip that yarn, you have greatly diminished your chances of being able to successfully reknit it if your tension has changed whatsoever. I typically use a needle to pull through that excess loop. With yarns like this, I just find it easier than using my fingers. And then once it is secured, we have to go to my least favorite part of the project. I did end at row 112, in case anyone is curious. And yeah, the least favorite part of the project, which is weaving in ends, as I'm sure we all know. The least exciting part. Here is the completed blanket. It is a woven cable stitch bordered with a simple garter stitch in another color. Yeah, all good to go and mail off to my friend.
Hey, let's pack a quick box for a friend. I have a friend who's going to be having a baby soon at work, so I've just made some things for her. Starting with this baby blanket. This is a basket weave stitch, a basket weave cable, just outlined in another color. Very soft. Okay. Now on to the baby booties. She requested that all the baby booties have a no-slip grip on the bottom, so I've just done the bottoms with silicone. I love Halloween and pumpkins, so I have a whole collection of little pumpkins in here. Different sizes, all of these with the no-slip grip, all in different colors. When I started, we didn't have the sex of the baby yet, so I tried to go neutral for things that would work either way. Here you can see where I started figuring out the line details to make better grippy lines. This guy's sparkly, I don't know if you can see. Not all of these lines went well. I have a hurt wrist. It was difficult to get the silicone out. You can see in a couple places it really didn't go well. Just a collection of different sizes. These two are my favorite. They're little pairs with little bee wings. They're little bumblebee slippers. It's again with my lines. I'm really pleased with the lines on this one. I think that'll be some good grip. I also did little mitts. Babies have very sharp fingernails and they start to scratch and stuff like that. They don't know any better, right? So these are these little fingerless baby mitts. You plunk them on your kidlet so that they can't scratch themselves. My mom also used to not clip our nails. She would chew our nails off because nail clippers were hard to use on babies. Anna, I don't have a baby. We also got some little hats with little pom-poms. Some more little hats. This one's got a flower. This one looks like a pumpkin. Another pom-pom. This one's bee inspired. And then to top off the box, one more baby blankie. I think this is done. Or I'm being defeated by tape, one or the other. Fantastic.